Good morning, team. Kevin here. This morning, I just want to share a topic of mine that I feel like God's been talking to me. I just want to share with you guys. Hopefully, something you can use in your own personal life in both realms, and faith and fitness. And that's the topic of today. The topic is faith and fitness. How some of the principles you can apply in faith and some things that you can do in faith can also be applied in your fitness realm. Definitely the first one to say that I am not perfect. Neither do I ever say I am perfect. I'm definitely abiding or trying to abide by some of these guides that I put out, I guess you can call them, and hopefully they can bless your life as well. God is so good, and He has a very beautiful way of talking to us. But yeah, let's get right into it. So topic number one. Okay, topic number one is the body and fitness are like our faith that we need to work out in all areas. So like, for example, in fitness, we have, cardio, upper body, lower body, aerobic, anaerobic, right? Different things that we can work out in fitness, right? It's not just one thing, right? Well, in the faith, we have the same thing, right? We have a prayer life, worship, we read the word, we fast, etc. There's so many things, that we can do within the faith as well. And if you want to call them exercising the faith, right? Just as you're exercising your body. So in both fitness and faith, it's multifaceted, and we need to work on all areas to have a holistic and whole strength, right? Like, you don't want to be the guy who people say, he skips leg day, right? Well, same thing in the faith. You don't want to be the guy who, he only goes to church who only goes to church on Sunday, and then the rest of the week, there's no communication with the Lord. There's no prayer. There's no worship. There's no seeking for Him. So it's a constant daily thing that you have to exercise or practice, however you want to say it, right? It's a daily grind, and that's gonna lead me to my next point. Right. Point number two, faith is like fitness in the aspect of doing it daily, right? You must continue to grind and push yourself every day in order to grow, right? You can't just work out Monday and Tuesday and then the rest of the week not do anything, right? It's kind of like you have to work at it daily, right? And I get it, right? There's some days to rest, which also in the faith we do that too, right? On Sundays, right? We take a day to rest. But that's how we get stronger, right? So it's not a one and done thing. That's what I'm trying to get to. You can't just go to gym one day or go to church one day and expect results and changes, right? You must apply consistency and discipline daily. For those of us who lift, right, that 1 week without doing anything or any workout can set you back a lot. It can, right? It can, when you go a whole week without working out, that next week you kind of feel like, dang, I kind of like, I can't hit the same weights anymore, and I kind of have to take it back a little bit, So same thing with your faith, in your relationship with God. You have to communicate and get into the Word daily to strengthen your faith, right? This is one thing that I personally have been trying to do. Starting in the month of July, I've been trying to read 3 chapters a day. It doesn't have to be 3 chapters a day, that's just my example. But I've been trying to exercise my faith more. And looking back 10 years ago when I first came to the faith, I would start only by a verse a day, right? And that was enough for me, and then it started a chapter a day, and now I'm up to the point where it's 3 chapters a day, because I just want more, right? I want to be more connected to God. I want to seek Him more. I want that more intimacy, just like when people work out, right? They're going to start off lifting lots of heavy weight. They're going to start small, but as they get more into it, right, as they practice it daily and get into that grind, they start lifting heavier. They will start running longer, whatever the case may be. So faith and fitness in the same aspect where you have to do it daily, right? You have to continue to work at it, apply the discipline, consistency, so you can see the results and you can get stronger, faster, better, etc. Point number 3, all right, you will go through hardship and trials in this life, right? However, this is how we become stronger and more mature, right? So in our faith with God, right, it's not always going to be peachy and rainbows and unicorns all the time, right? You're going to go through some hard and tough times in this life, which I personally have. And although the process will be hard and tough, the result is that you will mature and be stronger, right? So like personally, I've been through some tough times, been in the Army 12 years, I've seen some things, done some things, but ultimately that's made me a stronger, mature person. At the time, I didn't see it as like, oh, okay, this is gonna mature me, it's gonna make me stronger. I just saw it as like, man, this sucks, right? But at the end, when God glorifies Himself and He shows you why you went through what you had to go through, it's a very beautiful thing, right? He shows you that it must happen, it had to happen. And at the end, you're stronger and more mature, just like working out, right? When you're working out, you're breathing heavy, you're sweating, there's pain, there's soreness, right? But you know that today's efforts are gonna make you stronger tomorrow, right? Right. So you're gonna feel that soreness, you're gonna feel that fatigue tomorrow, but you know that the efforts will pay off, right? So faith and fitness are the same in that aspect where like it's going to suck sometimes. That's the truth and reality is, right? And I think that's one thing that we need to talk about. Sometimes when people come to Christ, they think that, it's gonna be all peachy, it's gonna be great, I'm a Christian now, everything's gonna work in my favor. And that's not true. Like we can see that in the Old Testament with Moses, with Noah, right? A lot of them, their lives that they went through, Joseph, it wasn't all peachy all the time. They went through some things, right? But at the end, God glorified them, when they overcame the obstacle or that thing in their life, and it's very beautiful, But again, during that time, during those exercises, it doesn't seem great, right? You're like, man, this sucks, right? Oh, this is heavy. Oh, this is hard. Oh my, I'm breathing heavy. But just know that just going through that, right? Applying yourself, making the efforts, knowing that later in the future you're going to be stronger, you're going to be faster. In your faith as well, there's going to be hard times you go through, but that's when you have to cling more to God and know that there's reasons why things happen in our life, right? I'm a personal firm believer that things happen for a reason. And I think, you may not see it now, you might be going through a trial right now, but you just know that later in the future that God's going to glorify himself. If you continue to believe in him, continue to seek him, I promise you, personal testimonies, tore my ACL, my left knee, right? Fully tore, not partial, well, partially tore first and then fully tore. And then here I am running 10 miles now after surgery, recovery, all that. Obviously there was a year of physical therapy, right? There's a process, right? But here I am running like no other, so, but I could have gone through that time and been like, man, this sucks, man, why me, God, right? Or man, this is terrible. I have so many plans in life, my Army career, I had so many things ahead of me. But God taught me a lot of things through that injury, right? To learn about myself. He taught me to seek him more, right? To look for him, to put my faith in him and not in my Army career and myself. But again, everybody has their own testimony, everybody has a personal experience. That was just mine. And it's very beautiful how God glorified himself at the end. Here I am still being able to do my plans. It's not delayed, right? Or it's not a no. It's not a not yet. It's not a no, it's not yet. So, but yeah, so it wasn't no that he didn't want me to do it then. It's just not yet, later in the future, because you need to learn something through this process, right? And God teaches us sometimes in the process to learn something. But to end this point, I just want to read 2 verses from the Bible. It's 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6 through 7. It says, "In all this you will greatly rejoice, though for a little while you may have to suffer grief and all kinds of trials. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." So it's saying that we are going to have to face some trials, right? I had a great leader in the Army who would say, you can't have a testimony without a test, right? The word test is in the word testimony. That's true, right? You can't have a great testimony without a test. And this is what it's saying. It's the refining, right? Just like gold and diamonds, right, are refined to make that pureness of it. Well, your tests and trials are there too to refine you as well, right? To make you more mature, to make you understand some of the principles that God puts into the Bible, right? So again, this topic number 3 was just about facing hardships and trials in your life are the same, and working in your faith is the same as working out. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but you continue to do it because you know the end results are going to be great. Same thing with God. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but you know that God's going to glorify himself at the end. Okay, topic number 4. So there's no such thing as a magic pill, right? We can see this. A lot of people think that there's something I can take and boom, I'm fit, or there's something I can do and all my fat loss is gone, right? But that's not true, right? Those athletes that are built strong and are fast are like that because they put in hard work and they put in dedication over years, right? All you see is the end result, right? You're like, man, I wish I could be like him. They put the model in front of a pill or in front of a pre-workout, and you're like, man, I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna look like him. That's not true, right? You see their muscles, you see how strong they are, but you do not see that their tireless efforts and time and commitment that they spent, right, in the gym, right? So this is very correlated, just like in the faith, right? There's a lot of, pastors and great leaders in the faith, that you're like, wow, they can speak about the word, and I want to be like them, but you don't see the time that they spend in the back, right, at night, in the morning, in the background, like they're spending to get closer to God, right? They're reading the word, they're praying, they're fasting, right? They're seeking Him. They worship Him at all times, right? We don't see that. You just see like, oh, they can deliver the word very well, but we don't see how much commitment and time they're applying themselves, right? And time, that's the thing I'm trying to get here with that time is currency. Andy Mino says it best, and there's a song called Death to Me. If you haven't heard it, you should definitely watch it. And just, so men and women of God who preach well, have the knowledge of the word, are strong in faith, have put in the time, which is currency, which we talked about, that you pay to be where you are today. If you want to get closer to God, want to know more of God, through the word, and want to have more intimacy with God, then you have to commit that currency, right? You have to commit, which is time. I think nowadays a lot of people say, oh, I don't have time, there's not enough time in the day. But I think we need to change our verbiage a little bit. It's not that you don't have time, you just don't make time, right? And this is something that I personally started working in my life, as well as, I always said I was too busy with my Army career, and, doing this and doing that. But it's just, I think it's getting more organized and making time for God, making time for the gym, right? You have to make time to spend that currency, right? A lot of people can say, oh, I don't have time to the gym, I don't have time to work out. But is it really that you don't have time, or is that you don't make time, right? How much time do people spend on their phones or gadgets or, smart devices? I think if you were added up daily, you could probably make that time to just hit the gym, read the word, right? Listen to a podcast, whatever the case may be, But yeah, everyone says they don't have time, but in reality, they don't make time. There's a difference. So there's no magic pill, and there's no just quick, to get to know God. You have to spend time with Him. He wants that relationship with us. Just like we speak to our parents and our kids, they want time from us, right? They want mommy, daddy. Well, same thing. God wants our intimacy. He wants our prayer life to grow. He wants our personal life with the Word of God to get closer to Him. And same thing with fitness, right? We have to commit that time to spend time to continue to grow daily and to get stronger. We have to commit that time. All right, guys, point number 5. Point number 5 is what we feed our bodies and what we feed our souls, right? That's the topic, okay? So sometimes we focus so much on the workouts and types of workouts that we do that we sometimes forget one of the most important parts of fitness, right? It's your diet, right? So it's not just about lifting weights and running hard and all that stuff, right? Because if you think about it, you spend an hour to 2 hours working out, but then what about the next 22 hours, right? What are you feeding your mouth, right? So if those 2 hours can override a 22-hour of bad diet, right? Well, same thing in the faith, right? You can't just go to church on Sunday, listen to a pastor preach for an hour, and then expect the rest of the week things you're watching. And I'm not saying that you can't watch movies, stuff like that, or certain things, but it's just certain types of things you're watching, right? So things that you're watching on TV, things you're watching on social media, the photos that you're looking at, right? All that stuff, right? It's you're feeding the soul, right? So what are they? That's the real question you gotta ask yourself, is what are you feeding your soul, right? Sometimes we think that we can just work out every day, run and do all these activities and just eat like crap. I'm a perfect example of that. I used to think that, especially now that I'm in my 30s, I've realized that's not true. However, you have to fuel your body with good nutrition and try to limit the bad stuff. Nobody's saying you can't have an ice cream. Nobody's saying you can't eat chips, right? But you just have to try to limit it, right? The good diet, the nutrition has to override and be more abundance than the bad stuff, right? That's what we're getting at. Just like in our faith, right? We pray, go to church, read the word, but then we fuel our eyes with bad things, bad content, right? It could be things like I said, it could be things we see on social media, the things we watch on TV, even the music we hear, right? This is one thing that I personally had a problem with. I used to, as I came over to Christian, letting go of the worldly music was hard for me, right? Especially being Hispanic, music is everything, right? We listen to music as we're cleaning, listen to music in the car, everything, And I think God slowly over time allowed me to let go of that stuff, because it wasn't it wasn't edifying, right? It wasn't edifying, and it wasn't necessarily helping me, right? It was making me think of memories of the past and all that stuff. So I was feeding my soul with those bad, and most, let's just be real, most Hispanic songs talk about like, oh, the girl left me, oh, look at me, right? It doesn't, there's no edifying in those musics, right? So I slowly transitioning over to worship music. I'm more happy and more joy. There's more, just gratefulness in me now. So we have to continue to feed our souls with the things of God and try to limit the bad things, just like in fitness, right? You have to try to limit the bad things that you eat and just focus more on like the good stuff, right? Like the proteins and all that stuff, right? So I just want to read a quick verse from the Bible. It's from Matthew 6:22 to 24. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one can serve two masters. Either one will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. But the point that I'm trying to get at is that the things that you feed, that you see, that you hear, right? That's what you're feeding your soul, right? You may not think that, but that's what you are. That's what you're thinking about, right? That's what you're seeing. That's what you're consuming, right? So you just gotta try to limit the bad things and try to focus more on the word, right? So if that's a podcast, if that's YouTube videos, if that's listening to a pastor preach, whatever the case may be, just focus more, because what you feed is what's going to come out, right? You can't feed it. Like, I can't be listening to things about cryptocurrency and expect to be speaking things about God, right? That makes no sense, right? I have to feed myself the word, feed myself worship music, feed myself good things of God, so then I can then pour out to others, right? We pour out what has been poured into. You can't pour out something that hasn't been poured into you in the first place. So that's point number 5, was just feeding your diet, right? And fitness, the right things, the right nutrition, not nutrition by any means, and then feeding your soul the things of God, right? The right things, right? The good stuff, right? Prayer life, worship, and all that stuff, right? You want to feed it good things, so then God can use you, and then you can pour those things out into other people. Okay, point number 6. This is definitely one of my favorite points. My Pastor Raul Kiana, is a great guy. He has this saying that he says all the time, right? And I love it, and it resonates in my brain. I think about it all the time. He says, information without application is just information. However, information with application is transformation. So let me say that again, just so you get it one more time. Pastor Raul says, information without application is just information. Information with application is transformation, right? So we can apply this in both faith and fitness as well, right? You can sit there and watch hours of videos of pastors, leaders, people of the faith, right, etc. But if you do not put that information into practice, it's just information. You just spend an hour, 30 minutes, whatever the case may be, just watching, learning stuff, cool. But are you applying those things in your life, right? Because one thing to listen to it and not do anything with it, but then listen to it and be like, you know what, I'm going to start changing this, or I'm going to start doing this or that, right? Same thing in the fitness, same principle, right? There's so many bodybuilder videos out there, influencers, motivational videos, etc., right? But if you don't do anything with the information that they're giving you, well, then you're in the same place you started. Nothing changes. You are the exact same thing, right? So we want to get this information, learn this information, and then apply it into our lives, right? Whether that's the word of God, somebody's preaching to you, you're taking notes, whatever the case be, you want to apply it, right? Same thing in fitness, right? You want to listen to those bodybuilders, right? Whether that's reps and sets, different types of workouts, right? Changing, right? Breaking a plateau, whatever the case may be. But then you want to apply it, so then you can benefit from the information that was given to you, right? Both in faith and in fitness. Okay, guys, point number 7. We're almost done here, right? There will be days when you will not want to do neither, right? Both in the fitness and the faith, right? There's going to be days where you're not going to want to pray, right? It happens to me all the time. There'll be days when you don't want to, go work out, right? You're going to be tired, you feel lazy, you'll be like, oh, another day. Same thing with church, right? Some days you'll be like, man, I don't really want to go today, I'm tired, I just want to stay in, right? That's okay, right? We all feel that way, right? No human being doesn't have that, you know, that feature in them where they don't feel that way. They all feel tired. We all get lazy, right? With all that stuff, right? You will not want to work out or pray, right? You're not going to want to read or do the things of the faith. And like I said, it's okay. On those days, you need to remember your goals and where you are heading, right? Remember where you started from, right? And where you're heading to, right? On those days where it's hard, find that motivation, right? Find that motivation and fitness to continue to keep going, right? Think of like, man, I used to not be able to do this, and I can do this, and I want to do this, right? So you have to continue to find the motivation, that dedication to continue to go forward. Same thing with the faith, right? For me, personally, with the faith, I remember where God brought me from, right? God brought me from out of things, bad things of this world, and I'm like, wow, who am I to say no to him, or who am I not to pray to him, or who am I not to read the word when he's done so much for me, right? And then that just kind of reminds me, like, wow, I need to continue to get closer to him, continue to seek him, because there's more. There's just like in fitness, there's more. There's more that you can do. There's more that you can do in the faith, right? If that's to serve, if that's to read, to get closer to him, intimacy, whatever the case may be, right? So you just have to remember where you've been brought out by God, right? And just remember that he's taking you somewhere, right? Everybody has a purpose. Everybody who's in the faith. God brought them to the faith for a reason. He didn't just bring it to the faith to just be idle, right? No, we have to dig deep, right? You may not know who's counting on you, right? You're a role model, right? If you're a mom, a dad, if you're just a positive role model to people around you, right? You're a positive role model to the young people, right? I think in this generation, we need more positive role models, especially with all the things that we're seeing, things that are happening, right? You might be the only person that someone is counting on, right? Whether you're that person that is a positive role model to a young person who doesn't have a father, or for the person going through trials who might relate to your trial, right, that you've experienced in the past, and like, wow, if he did it, I can do it too, right? Or to that person who just needs some positive in this world when there's so much negative, right? That's why I try to be happy, try to find this joy, right, in God, right, to bless others, because there's just so much bad. But we can look at the bad and be like, man, there's so much bad that I'm gonna be bad too. Or we can look at the bad and be like, man, let me be a positive role model because there's so much bad, right? Be the change that you want to see in the world, right? And I think, with God, he's joy. He's just so much good stuff, right? He's great, and that having him in our life just allows us to bless others, right? So continue to keep going, push forward, right? Even though it gets hard, because you don't know who's looking, right? You don't know who you're being a positive role model to, right? They might not tell you. They might not say, hey, thank you, or they might not say like, oh, you're just such a big impact in my life. But they're watching you, right, daily. However that case may be, if it's on a post on social media, if it's seeing you every day at work, whatever the case may be. But one day, maybe they will tell you, they'll be like, wow, I'm so blessed to have you in my life. Thank you for being so positive. Because of you, I've seen a difference in this world, So continue to push, right, both in faith and fitness, right? It's going to get hard. That's a given. It's going to happen, right? And don't let this negativity bring you down. Continue to be great and do great things. Okay, guys, point number 8, last point, right? Both in faith and fitness, right? As you're practicing them or applying them, right? You're not going to necessarily see results immediately, right? You're not, right? It's not always going to be like, oh, I prayed and boom, it happened. Oh, hey, I lifted this heavy weight and now I'm stronger, right? No, you have to continue to apply, as we talked about, discipline and consistency. And you will see the results over time, right? That's where our patience gets tested, right? Patience, both in faith and fitness, right? You have to continually work daily, as we discussed, at your fitness and faith, right? God may not answer your prayer right now, but you will see him answer eventually, right? Whether that's a yes or no. It's not always yes. That's the thing, right? That's another topic for a different video. That patience works your faith and makes you appreciate the efforts later, right? When I was hurt in my knee, right? It took, first of all, like 6 months to get surgery, number one. And then it took a year of physical therapy to get back to almost, I would say, I don't think I'll ever be 100% where I was before, to where I was before. But it required patience. And that's one thing, last topic, is just patience. That's one thing that I personally had to work on, and I know a lot of us have to work on, especially in the day and age when we live where everything's instant, right? I see it right now. It happens time now or tomorrow, right? Like we just want things quickly, right? We have to remember that in both faith and fitness, there's patience involved. Patience, right? You have to patiently wait on the results, right? Not only is it working out, but you have to feed your body fuel, and then you have to sleep, recover, and all that, right? It's a cycle, it's a process, but that requires patience, right? It's not gonna happen right now. Same thing with the faith, right? You're gonna, like we talked about, you're gonna go through trials, stuff like that, but it sure require patience, right? You have to have patience to continue to seek God, right? Don't give up, right? Don't give up, especially in the time we live today, where unfortunately we keep hearing things about suicide and people, ending their life. Don't give up. Don't give up. It's gonna be hard sometimes. Trust me, I've experienced it. But you're going to see, if you have patience and you endure, that there's times, right? There's temporadas, right? That we say in Spanish. There's different seasons that we go through, right? There's gonna be some highs and there's gonna be some lows. That's just a matter of reality of it. So you just have to apply patience when you're in the lows, and also when you're at the highest. Remember, it's not always gonna be high. There might be another low coming down, and it's going to happen. That's just the reality of it. So apply patience, right? Consistency, dedication to both faith and fitness. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely my first video ever doing. Hopefully I can look back and be like, wow, this is where I started and look where I'm at now. But again, all these principles, I hope you've learned something. Hopefully you can apply it to your own personal life, both in faith and fitness. Just something that I think God's been talking to me about through the Word, through Him just, talking to me in prayer, just how, faith and fitness can correlate with each other, the principles. And it's so beautiful because I love both. I love, obviously, my faith, I love God, and I like fitness, right? So just applying both things in our lives, and both avenues, faith, fitness, can benefit. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this content. First video ever made. Hopefully it brings some blessing to your life. Be faithful, apply discipline, apply consistency, have patience, and things are gonna work in your favor, I promise. But the answer is not always yes. That's the thing. And sometimes it's not a no, it's not yet. So hope you guys have a blessed day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the next video.